You were not meant to see this by chance. Something ancient has stirred in the spirit realm, something once buried is circling again. Archangel Michael brings this message not as a prophecy of fear, but as a sacred awakening. There is a forgotten curse rising. A shadow from your bloodline, your past, your spiritual ancestry, reaching forward again. And you have until midnight to recognize it, break it, and seal the door for good. You may have felt it building. That heaviness in your chest. The strange disruptions in your home. Repeating emotional patterns that seem to appear without reason, grief, fear, financial blockages, tension between loved ones. These are not random. They are signs. Echoes. Traces of a cycle that once touched your lineage, and now it wants back in. It doesn't come with a loud knock. It slips through distraction. Through silence. Through the belief that it's all in your head. But your spirit knows better. You felt the shift. The unease. The recurring obstacles that don't match your effort. This is the forgotten curse, energy that was never fully broken, pain that was passed through generations instead of being healed. But heaven is not silent. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword again, not just to fight for you, but to call you into divine recognition. You have the authority to stop this cycle, but only if you act before the spiritual gate closes. Midnight is not just a number on the clock. It is a spiritual threshold. A gate between days, realms, destinies. The curse waits for moments like this, when awareness is low, when protection is thin. But you are not asleep. You are awake, alert, and chosen. You are being given sight beyond sight. The veil is lifting, not to scare you, but to show you what has been moving behind the scenes of your life. The friction you've felt. The delay you've experienced. The unanswered prayers. They weren't ignored. They were under siege. There are forces that move through families unnoticed for generations. Emotional storms. Patterns of loss. Cycles of failure right before breakthrough. They are not just coincidences, they are spiritual patterns, inherited without permission. And you? You are the interruption. You are the first to hear the truth at the right hour. This is not a burden, it's an anointing. You've been chosen to confront what others ignored. To listen while others sleep. Before midnight, your house must be spiritually sealed. Your heart must be realigned. Your atmosphere must be cleansed. Because what returns tonight isn't just coming to visit, it's coming to reclaim. But it cannot cross boundaries that are guarded by light. It cannot survive in the presence of truth. You do not need to fear, but you must not be passive. Passivity is what allowed this curse to survive in the first place. Archangel Michael is here not just to warn you, but to walk with you through the fire. You are not fighting alone. But you must engage. Speak what needs to be said. Release what needs to be let go. Forgive where bitterness still clings. Remove what carries the weight of old energy. Your surroundings matter. Your words matter. Your agreement with heaven matters. This message is not for the masses. It's for the awakened. It's for the ones who recognize divine timing. It's for you, the chain breaker, the cycle ender, the one your ancestors prayed for without knowing your name. And now, the time has come. Not next week. Not tomorrow. Before midnight. There's a reason why you felt this repeating energy, like you're constantly starting over, like peace never stays, like breakthroughs come close and then disappear. This is not bad luck. This is spiritual residue. An unfinished assignment passed through bloodlines. pain that was silenced instead of healed. It may not have started with you, but tonight, it's trying to end through you. The curse returns to the bloodline that never faced it fully. But this time, someone is awake. Someone is watching. That someone is you. You have more power than this cycle wants you to believe. Because this is not just a generational pattern, it's a spiritual thief. One that feeds on silence. One that hides in shadows. But light always exposes what's been hiding. And Archangel Michael is bringing that light right now. Heaven has dispatched warning and protection, but it is your voice, your choice, and your will that seal this moment. You are not just hearing this message, you are standing in the doorway between what was and what could be. As midnight approaches, you are being called into remembrance, not of fear, but of authority. The past does not own your future. Your lineage does not limit your legacy. But it must be confronted. Ignoring the curse doesn't break it. Denying it doesn't stop it. Only truth, spiritual clarity, and divine alignment can dismantle what was never meant to continue. This curse has circled through time, but now it has met resistance, and that resistance is covered in light. Archangel Michael isn't just speaking to you, he's standing beside you. His presence always marks the urgency of a turning point. He shows up when heaven is ready to end something. Tonight is not just about a warning. It's about a sacred invitation. An invitation to clean the atmosphere, to stand in spiritual courage, and to declare once and for all, this ends here. You don't need to know every detail of the past. You only need to decide that it no longer has permission to walk into your tomorrow. Let your room hear your voice. Let your soul hear your choice. You are not too late. You are right on time. This message found you before the clock ran out, because the divine always sends the signal before the door closes. This is your moment of spiritual response. Before midnight strikes, you will decide what continues. And what gets cast out. The curse that circles is not always dramatic, it is often subtle. It repeats in quiet breakdowns, unspoken grief, familiar heartbreaks that seem to echo across generations. It wears different faces, but its intention is always the same: to delay, to diminish, to disconnect you from what is sacred. But you were never meant to carry this weight any longer. That's why this message came. That's why tonight matters. This isn't the beginning of another cycle, it's the final confrontation with it. There is a spiritual timeline that's active now. Midnight doesn't just end a day, it closes a gate. The curse knows this. That's why it waits for silence. That's why it hides in patterns. But heaven's light has exposed its presence, and Archangel Michael stands as your witness and your warrior. What once traveled unchecked ends when awareness arrives. And your awareness is fully open now. This isn't just about prayer, it's about spiritual authority. You don't need to scream. You don't need to fear. You need to stand. You need to speak. You need to walk through your home and release what does not belong. Remove the energy of grief that was never healed. Detach from objects that carry broken memories. Ancestral weight doesn't live in your blood, it lives in what you continue to tolerate. You've reached the threshold where tolerating it ends. Listen closely to what your soul has been saying. All the delays, the inner resistance, the moments where you nearly gave up, these weren't random attacks. They were pressure points. And tonight, heaven is applying the final pressure, not to break you, but to break the curse. And when it breaks, peace will enter the places that have been empty for too long. This is not just about you, it's about everyone connected to your spiritual line. When you declare freedom, when you confront the shadow, the light will ripple backward and forward. What your ancestors endured silently, you will overcome loudly. What your future children would have carried, you are casting out. You were always meant to be the turning point. You were always chosen to be the one who saw clearly while others stayed blind. Archangel Michael is not asking for perfection, he's asking for presence. For courage. For you to say yes to divine interruption. The midnight gate is closing, and what you do now will echo far beyond tonight. You may feel emotional without reason tonight. You might suddenly remember things you thought were buried. You may cry without knowing why, or feel a heaviness press against your chest when the clock approaches midnight. That's not weakness. That's release. That's your spirit recognizing what your mind can't yet explain. The forgotten curse isn't only spiritual, it's emotional. It hides in heartbreak that never found healing. In bitterness passed down through silence. In shame worn like a hidden layer. But no more. This is the hour when exposure becomes freedom. Before midnight strikes, there is power in your spoken word. There is healing in your decision to no longer carry what was never yours to begin with. The curse may have followed your bloodline, but it did not start with you, and it will not end with you unless you step forward now. Do not wait for validation from others. They might not understand the storm you feel. They don't have to. Because you were the one chosen to stand between the curse and your future. What you reject tonight in the spirit will never have access to your tomorrow. You are not casting out energy, you are reclaiming your space. You are not fighting a ghost, you are declaring your birthright. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. And all of heaven is watching, not with judgment, but with anticipation. Because the cycle ends when the chosen one recognizes it and acts. As the final hour approaches, let the air around you be cleared. Speak peace into your walls. Speak freedom into your bloodline. Let the light of divine protection fill your atmosphere. You are not helpless. You are not cursed. You are the one who has been given the sword of clarity and the shield of divine timing. Archangel Michael stands not just beside you, but behind you, guarding every word you speak in truth tonight. The curse cannot remain where faith has taken root. Midnight will come, the clock will turn, and when it does, you will not be the same. When your ancestors faced this energy, they didn't have the insight you do now. They didn't have words for what they felt. So they endured it. They passed it on in their silences, in their fears, in the rules they lived by but never questioned. But you are different. You were born with the knowing. With the sense that something needed to shift. With the unexplainable ache that you were sent to finish what they could never name. And that ache? It's divine assignment disguised as pain. This is why you've always felt the weight of invisible burdens. Why rooms sometimes felt heavy for no reason. Why relationships repeated the same arguments. Why your joy was always followed by fear. It's not random. It's a residue. The remnants of a spiritual battle that never fully ended. But now it can. Because awareness is the doorway. And you've just walked through it. Midnight doesn't wait. It comes with or without your consent. And that's why this moment is holy. Because heaven gave you time. It gave you warning. It gave you a chance to stand where others bowed. To say what others swallowed. To break what others obeyed. There's a sacred bravery in your spirit that the curse didn't expect. And that's why it's nervous now. Because it's circling. And it knows it has nowhere left to land. You are not just the recipient of this message. You are its activator. Its carrier. The voice it waited for. The one with enough courage to say, "This ends with me." The curse doesn't get to live in your name. It doesn't get to travel into your future. It doesn't get to rest in your walls. You may not have chosen the battle, but you are choosing the outcome. And that choice is what separates the cursed from the called. This night is sacred. This battle is real. And this moment is yours. If this message reached your soul, don't scroll away in silence. Like this video now, to seal the spiritual agreement in your atmosphere. Comment below, "The curse ends with me." Let your words break what your ancestors carried in silence. Share this video with someone whose family line deserves freedom before midnight strikes. And if this message protected your soul or broke something heavy, tap super thanks and help us send this truth to more chosen ones across the world. This isn't just a video, it's a spiritual warning delivered on time. Heaven spoke. Michael stood watch. Now the rest is up to you. Subscribe now, not just to stay updated, but to step deeper into alignment with divine truth. The curse was waiting to repeat. But tonight, it ends with the one who finally heard it coming. That one is you.